Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and I live in an apartment, which means sometimes it can feel really hard to decorate my space because I can't make permanent changes, obviously, but I've kind of gotten bored with my space and I want to revamp it a little bit. So that is the goal today. The big problem is this couch. Now, we bought this like right after we got married and really didn't know what we were buying. We had never bought a couch before. And there's a lot of things that I would do differently, but we don't have money for a new couch right now. So I want to kind of help it out without having to spend new couch money. One thing that I really don't like about it is just based around fabric quality. I've had to shave it a couple times just because it's gotten pilly and I can even kind of feel that now. It's also just so dark. We were looking for a color that was somewhere in between like gray and brown because we have a lot of brown tone decorations, but obviously the walls are gray. This kind of fits the bill for that, but again, it's just very dark and this room's not super well lit as it is. Finally, my big complaint, and you probably can't tell very well by looking, but I think this is a common issue. It sinks down really far in the back. Like, you just kind of get eaten by it, which isn't very comfortable to sit in. So I wanted something that would add some bulk to the cushions and brighten up the couch a little bit and maybe cover the fabric because it's not aging super well. And I think I found the solution. I saw this picture. I'm not exactly sure what the official name of this. I've seen it called like a couch refresh or a sofa cover, whatever you want to call it. But essentially, it's a big, long, thin cushion that you put on top of your whole couch to add a little extra thickness and to kind of act as a cover and something you could really easily throw in the wash if you wanted to clean the whole thing, a lot easier than what you could do with your couch cushions. And this just felt perfect. I actually looked at some of them that you could buy, but I just wasn't into them. Like I said, I'm already unhappy with how I feel like this fabric hasn't worn very well, so I'm looking for something that's a high quality fabric, preferably a cotton, and nothing was really in that category. So I thought, I bet I could make something, obviously. Now, for a lot of my videos, I really try not to buy any sort of products because I have a lot of essentially everything when it comes to crafting. I did purchase some products for this video though. So for the sofa refresh that I'm going to be working on, I definitely wanted to have a stuffing for it that was going to be pretty resilient over time and give a nice body to the cushion. So I went to my local Joann Fabrics and I decided to buy some quilt batting to put inside of it. This is the ultra thickness quilt batting. I got 4 yards of it. I measured our couch. It is just like 2 inches shy of being 2 yards long. So 4 yards will give me plenty to be able to do 2 lengths of it. And then it's also way wider than our couch. So I'm gonna be able to get at least 6 layers if I want it. I don't think it's quite wide enough to cut it in half and have each half of it lengthwise be wide enough, if that makes sense. And this was actually really cheap. I got it on sale, so all 4 yards was like $12. So I'll take that any day. Now, because it also has that issue of kind of sinking down in the back, I know that I'm gonna need to make it a little thicker in the back to kind of give a little bit of extra lift. I bought another product. I bought a massive box of polyfill. This is 20 pounds and it is huge. It has taken up a lot of space in my craft room for a long time now. Now, if you do find yourself interested in a project like this and purchase a 20-pound box of polyfill, but then end up procrastinating for 2 months, just know that it's dense enough it can actually function as a piece of furniture. If I could describe my interior design, it would be garden party. I don't really know how to articulate that or put it in words, but that's just the aesthetic that I like. I think it's very pretty, it's softly colorful in a way that can feel really eclectic as well because I thrift a lot, so I have a lot of weird random things. With that in mind, and also the fact that I really didn't want to buy any more fabric because I have way too much, I went digging through my fabric stash, and after a 2-hour video call with my best friend, I nailed one down. It is this. This probably looks like a really boring fabric. It is a flannel fabric that's got a really subtle herringbone print on it. And it kind of looks like a nude. It's actually sort of a blush pink. It's a very, very soft pink that just feels like a perfect basic. I didn't want something that was so patterned that I couldn't use pillows or anything like that, that it was just going to be too loud. So this felt really perfect, and I laid it out, and I have exactly 2 yards of this, which is perfect for the couch. Now, the problem comes in with the fact that this is a narrow fabric. It's only 45 inches wide, which is about exactly the width of our couch, or the depth, I guess. So I need a little extra because obviously it's gonna have some thickness to it, so there has to be something there. I can't just cut this in half because it wouldn't be deep enough. So I continued going through my fabric stash, and I came up with all of these. These are all secondhand fabrics that, I don't know, just I've collected over time. Some of them are scraps from other projects, some of them are full pieces that I've gotten, but I felt like they all really coordinated well with this pink, and also had a lot of colors in it that just feel like go with a lot of my other decorations, so it really tie it into the room. My plan is for that strip, I'll just do little squares, so it's kind of got a little bit of a quilty look to it, but it'll be really, really toned down. I don't usually say this, but I actually think this project was easier than I thought it was going to be. Since my pink fabric was already pretty much the right size, I just cut it down the fold line and ironed it, and it was ready to go. And then with all of my cotton scraps, I just cut them in squares that were 3 by 3 inches. Now, the one that I wanted the most of is this pink floral fabric. It was my favorite, and I honestly feel like it kind of tied all the other colors together, but I had the tiniest strip of fabric of it, so I didn't get that many squares, so I pieced a bunch of it together, and I actually got like 9 more squares out of it, so I think it was worth it. I don't really care that there's extra seams in it, because I think it's so cute that it's worth it. For all the other fabrics, I just cut like a good stack of squares. I really don't even know how many I had, because I didn't really count, and I ended up having quite a few left over. I also added in a couple more fabrics because I didn't feel like I was getting a random enough combination of squares with just having 6 different types of fabric, so I ended up just finding a couple other scraps in my scrap bins. I sewed them all together just kind of as randomly as I could. I didn't want any of the same ones next to each other, and that was pretty much the only criteria. I attached it around the edge of the rectangle and then attached the bottom in the same way, just making sure you match up the corner points and leaving the short end open to allow for stuffing. All right, I got the sack done and I really like it. Now I left a big opening at the one end. I serged around the edges because I will have to hand sew this shut once I get all the stuffing inside. I went ahead and cut my batting in half and folded it in half and put it on the couch, and I decided I'm gonna put all 4 layers in it because it feels really nice at this thickness. So now I just have to jam all this in here. Okay, it's in and I love it, and I'm really proud because it fits like perfectly. Now the last step is to open up this guy finally, and I want to stuff in here to kind of give it some extra body. The batting is really to give it structure so that it is still like rectangle shaped, but I wanted to have some more poofiness to it. I wanted to kind of look like a big puffy couch cushion. This is a little flat, so I'm going to add that now. Here she is. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's too big, I know. But 2 things. Most of this is because of the polyfill, and if you've ever worked with polyfill, you know that it decompresses quite a bit. And since we're gonna be sitting on this, I'm expecting it to decompress quite a bit. So I think that will help a lot and it'll be more normal. Also, I have one more thing that I want to do to it. Well, it's been almost a week and we're really loving the new cushion. It has kind of relaxed out a decent amount, so it's not so like sausagey shaped, and I feel like it's really the thickness that I wanted it to be, so I'm really happy about that. It is so comfortable. It feels like you're sitting on just like a big pillow. So I was really glad that I put as much polyfill in it as I did, because it gives it a lot of that extra bounce. Now the only thing that could make this couch better is some pretty pillows. So that is my next step. Now I do already have this lovely giant pillow my cousin actually knitted for us for a wedding gift that matches really nice because it's like a cream and a brown, and it's just a lovely piece. So this one's definitely part of the couch. But that's like pretty much all I have that matches well, so I wanted to make some new things to go along with it. I went digging through my fabric stash, and especially all of the little quilted things that I have, that most of which I got in a trash bag from a garage sale a couple years ago, and they have tons of little, like, I think samplers. So I have this one that I thought was just like a perfect color scheme that I'm gonna be using, and I'm gonna use the same green that is in the cushion as the backing, because this has also got some green tones in it, so I think that'll look really nice. And I'm probably gonna put it with that one, and I just think it looks so cute. And another piece that was in the same batch is this lovely piece of embroidery. I think this is the right side. And it's already got like batting inside of it. It's double layered, so all I need to do is sew the backing onto it. It is using a red thread, so it's a little bit different of a color contrast than what I already have, but I just think it looks so nice and is such a well done piece. And I think the cream will really tie it in and it'll look good. To really give it kind of that cutesy feel, I have this floral fabric that I'm gonna put in the background that has little red flowers on it that I thought would be a really nice little contrast. Now I will have to get creative because I don't have a lot of this fabric, so I am gonna have to piece it together. I might just try and do like 4 squares so it's kind of a nice symmetrical backing, but those two will be going together and I'll probably put them at this corner here. So we'll have a nice well-rounded matching little couch. Got it done. I think I hate it. Well, I haven't made a lot of pillows. Maybe that's really obvious because this didn't turn out that well. I didn't think about how this being so close to that main seam basically completely cuts the circle off and it looks just weird. You're losing so many of the details because those little petal shapes are half of what makes this really cute. So I want to make this a round pillow. I just went with the square, honestly, because it was on a square piece of fabric and that seemed really easy, but it's not really that cute.
Back to square one.
That's so much better. Let's just hope pillow number 2 goes better. Has this ever happened to you? You get home after a long day and go to prop your feet up and realize you can't. Well, have I got the solution for you? An ottoman! Yes, you too can be this comfortable. You'll need to start out with a heavyweight fabric that you bought 3 years ago that you now think is ugly. Cut one big rectangle and 2 identical circles, and then find a piece of fabric that you do actually like and cut the exact same size pieces. Hopefully you paid attention in geometry class, because the next step is to attach these to make one big cylinder. Next, take the sewing scraps that you've been collecting over the past 4 years and stuff it with a mixture of polyfill to make it more dense so it will hold its shape over time. You'll complete the same construction steps with the pretty fabric, but this time adding a piece of trim to make it extra fancy. You'll also add a zipper to make sure you can clean it in case you get your grubby feet all over it. If you've ever made sausage, this last step will be a breeze. Just think of this as a giant fabric casing. For the final task, an absurd amount of hand sewing, but it'll all be worth it for the result. Well, at this point, my living room has been made thoroughly fancy. Now, if you're one to pay attention to detail, you might notice that my living room also looks a lot different. And if you were thinking that, you'd be correct, because it's a different house. We moved. I made the really wise decision of starting this video when we knew we were gonna move but hadn't started packing anything yet, because I thought, I know what my living room is gonna look like and I can make some upgrades and make some things before we're in the process of moving, and then I'll have all this cool new stuff to decorate with once we've moved. Well, the issue was I got everything done except for this ottoman, and then we were packing and I didn't have any of my supplies, and we've actually lived here for a couple weeks now and I could not find my yellow thread, so it was just sitting for weeks. In addition to the fact that life has just been hectic, I know I haven't posted in at least a couple months. I don't even know. Maybe July was the last time I posted. Honestly, things have just been kind of a lot. We had a death in the family, and I totaled my car last month when I hit a deer, and we've been moving, and I just have not had time to really do much sewing, and honestly have kind of been lacking a little bit of inspiration. So I finished up the ottoman kind of when I was in the midst of this lull, and I do feel kind of excited to do things again. It's just going to be kind of difficult. I don't really have a craft room set up or anything right now, so life is still weird. This is our living room currently that I'm in, and we've pretty much got it set up and I'm really loving it. We have a lot more space here. This is our first home that we bought together, and I'm pretty excited about it. It is definitely an upgrade from an apartment. I'm hoping that I will get better at posting a little bit more regularly here, just with everything hopefully settling down a little bit, and hopefully you will stay tuned to see what adventures we go on next. I am planning a video house tour, so if you're interested in that, check back in probably a week or two once I get things edited and posted, and I can give you a tour of what the whole house looks like. But if you stayed for the whole video, thank you so much for watching. I know that it was a little bit chaotic, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and I think honestly everything looks really good and even better in this living room because it's just very much more like my style, and I think it actually goes with my decorations a lot more than the apartment did. So I'm really loving how it all came together. Tell me what you think. Thanks for watching.